Mackenzie critiques from Mackenzie Dick as a favorite anime. Let me just get the boring stuff out of the way. We rotate this podcast every week, so you'll see it on a bunch of different people's channels. So I'll link these guys' channels in the description below. Also, a quick reminder to you guys that if we theorize about anything in this podcast, please don't confirm or deny anything, because you'll end up spoiling us. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Ken as well for starting this initiative, right? So we can get a bunch of guys on who are reacting to JoJo and like to chime in every week. I'll let these guys introduce themselves. I'll start with Ken.
Yo, what is up, guys? You already know who it is. Sorry if I don't have too much energy, but you know, Ken Senpai here, and we're just here to talk some JoJo with my brothers. Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Memory here. Glad to be back again for another JoJo cast. Love getting together with the guys and talking about the greatness. So, yeah, I'm ready for some more.
Yeah, I just want to tell people that if you guys were expecting Blaze, Master Blaze or Master Cell, Blaze is busy right now, but he might join partway through, so we're hoping he'll join. Master Cell's a bit busy. He's been quite busy last few weeks, so I guess apologies from us and from him for not joining, but we tried to get him on every other week. We're expecting Desert Reviews as well to join on. But we've got a good amount of stuff to talk about this week. We can talk about the outcome to the Popo fight, the Black Sabbath fight, the banana gun. I'm sure people want to hear us talk about that. We can talk about episode 5, the introduction, and then we can theorize about next week. So I'll throw it out to you guys, man. Like that Popo fight, the first real fight against an antagonist, Black Sabbath, and all that stuff. What do you guys think, man? What do you guys think of that stand and that power?
Honestly, I really enjoyed Black Sabbath, and I actually did some research after watching that episode, and I actually listened to the song the album that Black Sabbath was supposed to, mention. Yeah. And it really describes Black Sabbath as a stand, honestly, just like the whole song about coming for your soul, gripping your soul away and whatnot, and the ability of Black Sabbath, how, Black Sabbath was stripping people's soul in the darkness. Yeah. Really, props to Araki for that. Like the whole thing is, sorry if I'm, going like on a tangent here, but
nah, that's cool, man.
I really love how Araki, like, with the whole music scenario and whatnot, if you listen to most of his like references to the stands, it matches the music perfectly. For example, Killer Queen, when you look back at the album Sheer Heart Attack, and then you listen to Killer Queen and you hear the music about it, I love it. It's perfect. Honestly, I love the whole music, and just listening to the music for Black Sabbath, even though it was dark, it gives you that vibe of Black Sabbath. Honestly, throughout the episode, to an extent, I was kind of scared of Black Sabbath because it was like, yo, this is like, this stand is kind of creepy. Yeah. Most of the stands we get, I never got that feeling from.
Well, what did the bad translations call it instead of Black Sabbath? What was the name for it? I forgot. Because I know we know it as Black Sabbath, but what would they call it?
Oh, I
forgot. I forget myself as well. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. Like it has the imagery of a black. So you'd expect this kind of like a friar-looking dark character, right, to be like a representation of like Black Sabbath and all. I didn't even think that JoJo would get a Black Sabbath reference in. Like it's always surprising, isn't it? Like the kind of references they get in and the musicians, because it shows you that Araki doesn't just listen to like one type of music. He's like all genres.
Diverse.
Diverse. Yeah.
But
did you? Yeah. Sorry.
So I was gonna say, like, I definitely agree with Ken, like on the whole like I love the whole contrast, like, because Black Sabbath is like a rock band, like they started like the whole big heavy metal movement and all that too. Like I don't listen to too much Black Sabbath, but I like, my mom, my parents have and all that. But like I specifically like at least how it was animated, like the contrast between like the dark, like in the light, just how like the ways, the certain different ways that the shadows were like casted, like just like little things like on Giorno's character, like just small things like that. I love how they did that. And just the stand itself is like all the stands so far in this part have just been like super crazy in my opinion, like with like the kinds of things that you can do with them, like the kind of attacks and just the kind of movements you can make.
Yeah. Did you guys think that for Popo's stand that it would have been more of a challenge, like it would go beyond one episode? Because I know that was something that bugged me a little bit, but not too much, because it's just the first like real fight, right, that we've had. Did you think that it would be more formidable for Giorno, you think, going up against
like going back to what you're saying there, I feel like the whole thing with Black Sabbath, like it relied too much on the time of day. So like when you bring it like during daytime, of course, it would be hard for Black Sabbath to really get the job done. But if you think about it, if it was nighttime, it's open season for Black Sabbath. Like I feel like Giorno and Koichi would have died. If it was nighttime, they would have definitely lost. There was no way they would win that. How fast Black Sabbath traveled through the shadows, it was impossible. So to see how it ended like so short, I feel like it was, it makes sense because it's not so hard to figure out that Black Sabbath has to stay within the shadows, and it's just up to the main characters and whatnot in order to get him out of the shadows to win this battle.
Yeah, I do think that it was justified in that Popo doesn't expect the people that he stalks, right, to have powers already. So he thinks that it's an easy assassination or easy kill, right? But he didn't expect that Giorno would have actually powers to fight back, right? So I can sort of justify why it was over so quickly or so briskly. What about you, Desert? What did you think of that Black Sabbath fight? The first proper fight in the anime.
Oh, Desert's here?
Desert, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Can you hear us, Desert? We'll just let him sort his tech. But I was gonna say, it's kind of justified that it was kind of brisk, right? And it's just still the first fight. What do you guys think of the? No, we can't hear you, Desert. We can't hear you, Desert. I think your microphone might be muted. But yeah, I was gonna say, what did you guys think of the banana gun stuff? Were you shocked? Because like
I was.
Yeah, I was somewhat shocked. Yeah.
The whole time I was just like wondering because like I knew like Giorno was doing something with his stand, but I was like specifically like, okay, like they had the camera like angle on the fridge, so I was like, okay, there's something going on with the fridge here, or something inside of the fridge.
Yeah.
And then like I was like, okay, what the hell is Giorno doing with his stand? And while I was watching, I was like, I literally don't know, like what is he trying to do here?
Yeah.
Then when he put I was like, no way that he actually just like there was like that moment, and then the moment earlier in the episode when he like did that whole thing with the tree, like how he went like with the roots of the tree and all that.
Yeah.
Like those two parts in the episode made me go like, wow, like this early on, we're already seeing like some of these crazy things that Giorno can do with his stand. Like just being able to alter things like that is just like it's so insane. Like it's so useful because he can just use it for so many different things, so it definitely shocked me. Like I did not see that coming, like at least the banana thing. Like I was joking, like I'm never gonna eat a banana again. I was like I'm not gonna eat a banana the same way again.
It was shocking because I thought he'd just plant a bug on him or something or something like that. But to think that he actually wanted to bump the guy off. Well, you can like, did you kind of was shocked by his kind of moral outlook that he doesn't mind bumping off these people, especially Popo's a dangerous guy. We all know that he's a criminal, right? And he did try to kill that old dude, right? So you can't have a guy like him stand out there. How did you react to it? Did that kind of shit change your view on Giorno a bit, or did you kind of expect it because he's dealing with criminals?
Yeah, you see the whole thing with that whole scene with the banana. It shocked me. Just like Memory mentioned, it's like we knew that Giorno did something, but we didn't know exactly what he did. And then when you see how dark the scene is and how, Popo's just eating a banana, and we hear this gun click right off the bat, we're like, Giorno just killed this man.
If I may.
And
we can hear you now.
Be honest,
now we hear you, Desert.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. If I may be honest, when I first saw the scene, when I first saw Giorno change something and I saw the fridge opening, I thought what he was going to do, he was going to take an orange and he was going to have it like be a knife or some shit. So when he bit down, you just have like this fucking blade piercing through. I didn't think it was going to be a gun, but again, it was going to be the same result. I either thought it was going to be some sort of poison or some shit like that. But that's just me.
Yeah. Do you think like we were talking last week about like the moral complexity of these characters and how Giorno could possibly be a more complex character, right? In terms of he doesn't draw the line, right? He's not like, I won't kill or anything like that. Do you guys think that this could get more severe as it goes on? Because even in this week, we'll go on to episode 5, but even in this week's episode, when he was doing that whole test, right, with the drinking the piss, right? He kind of still himself doesn't trust them. He's trying to win their trust, but he's still using deceptive means to do it. just to get on their good side. You think this will kind of play into like a later on, like something more severe, right? This idea that he won't draw the line. Drugs offends him, but killing doesn't, and all that kind of thing. What do you guys think about that?
Honestly, the whole thing with Giorno, I really love his character, and just that whole scene with Popo, like killing off Popo, and how he just acted so calm and complex.
Yeah.
You see, there's a big thing of me, like a part of me that feels like it's going to be a point where Giorno will have to tell the team what happened with Popo, because we all know what happened, but the team doesn't know, and it's going to go down to the line where his life may be at risk, and he's going to have to trust the team with this information, because I can't see this being brushed aside. But like, just seeing how he handles things, the way he does, I really love it. Like it's like none other Joestar, of course. But of course, he has traits of Dio in him. So I really love his character. He's very complex.
It's weird he hasn't told anyone, because obviously trust is a big thing, right? And do you guys? I want to ask you guys. I'll ask the Desert first, because he hasn't been in there. My theory is for Giorno that there's something more than just drugs. Like, him and Bruno share this whole get drugs off our street thing. But do you think Giorno's got a bigger motivation, a motivation underlying, which he's not telling?
Desert dropped out.
Yeah, he's got the. He can join back with the link.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, do you think he's got a secret motivation that we don't know about, like revenge? Because I felt as though he's got something else, like another agenda, more than just getting these guys together, infiltrating it. Maybe he's trying to get to the head honcho, right? Because of his own reasons, not just something as simple as just drugs, right? I think there's more to it. Do you guys think that? Did you get that vibe, or do you think it's something else?
I would definitely agree with you there, because you see, the thing with Giorno that has been presented, he does things a way where it's like you don't really know his intention. So I can see something like that happening, like him having a different motive. Like, of course, he also wants to stop drugs being handed to kids and women, but there's also something on top of that will make things, his greater achievement, his greater goal.
Yeah, I definitely could see it being more than that. Like, just already with how like complex of a character that Giorno is, with like how he thinks about things and his personality and all that. Like, I could definitely see there being another like kind of motivation, or why he wants to get to the top. I don't know exactly what that is, but I can definitely see that being a thing. A question I did want to ask you guys though is, because right now Giorno, as we see, is trying to like gain the trust of like the others and all of that. Like, I'm wondering, like, say he gains the trust of all of them, right? And then all this stuff, say one of the things like about Popo comes out. Like, how do you think, like, after he's gained the trust of all of them, how do you think that could possibly affect, maybe the group? Because I don't think the group like all the time is gonna be all like sunshine and rainbows. Like they're like I feel like there's gonna be like internal kind of things going on, at least in the early parts.
I think that conversation he was having, right, and how people are starting to suspect Bruno, right? They mentioned Bruno, one of the names surrounding Popo's death. When they talking about when he disguised in the car, I feel as though that might come to bite them in the ass, right? Because Bruno's kind of got a target on his back, but he won't tell Bruno that he's the one that bumped Popo off, right? So it's already very like, it reminds me of kind of Goodfellas with side things going on, right? That people are keeping from each other, and it kind of comes to bite you in the ass later on when shit actually matters. I think you're right, Memory. I think that's a good point actually, because I think it will come between them. What about you, Ken? What do you think?
Honestly, from what we've seen with the characters, I feel like if it does come between them, it'll be at a point where everyone's getting comfortable with one another and they trust each other to a point where, even though, like, there's going to be, how you have certain friends and it's like they do something wrong and then, you end up forgiving them, something along those lines. Like, they'll be like, all right, you did this to me, but over this period of time that we've gotten to know each other, I can understand why you did it, and I forgive you. I feel like it'll go along those lines.
Yeah, I could see that, like, for sure, like with some of the characters. I'm just like interested to see, like, as we get more on these characters and how like their kind of ideals are, and like how they, like, I don't think some of them are going to be like as complex like as like Giorno or anything like that, but like say, okay, he gains the trust of them, and then like this whole thing about Popo comes out that Giorno was the one to off him. Like, I feel like some of the others are going to question, like, okay, but was it really okay to kill this man, but they didn't know that how Popo's tests were actually going. And that's also something that I wanted to bring up is like, do you think, and this has to kind of relate with like Giorno's like personality and all that, like, do you think Giorno would have offed Popo even if he didn't kill the old man, even still knowing that this is how his test was ran, like when he figured it out, like with all of the people being used like for the tests and all that, like they ended up dying?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so
either.
Yeah.
You don't think he would have killed him if he didn't kill the janitor?
Because you see, the whole thing, when you see what Giorno mentions, I don't know the exact words, but he says, like, Popo remember the speech Popo gives about how, like, the only time you are willing to kill is if you're disrespected, something. I mean, no, Popo says, like, you can kill, right? Killing is not a bad thing. Everyone can be forgiven. But the only time, like, you really should get angry or something along those lines is when your name is disrespected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like when you see how Giorno mentions and you disrespected that old man, I feel like along those lines, it comes to a point where Giorno has a certain principle. Like, he does things in a certain meaning. Everything has meaning. You know what I mean? So that happening, the old man, it was the push for Giorno to, pull the trigger, literally, or pull the banana.
Yeah. Desert. We were saying before, like you left, right? We were saying, what do you think the Popo's the discovery that the potential discovery that Popo got offed by Giorno would change the dynamic between the group, him and the group, and him and other people?
Wait, as in him and Bucciarati, or
him and Bruno particularly, but maybe with the rest of them, like Narancia and Abaccio and the other guys. You think it would change that dynamic?
Oh, hell yeah! When you think about it, I mean, think about it. These guys are classic Italian gangsters, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The only time, well, I mean, let's face it. Everybody here has seen The Godfather. Everybody's seen Sopranos, right?
Yeah.
All right. Look, regardless of what your capo does, if he kills a civilian, then he is then he is fucking justified regardless. You have to fucking obey him. And if you try to kill a capo, then shit, you have totally fucked up.
Yeah.
So if Bruno finds out that the death wasn't fucking accidental, pardon me, I'm a little behind. They're good. Giorno's gonna be looking like a fucking dick.
Yeah.
But here's how I look at it, right?
His back as well. Sorry.
Oh no, my bad. You can go ahead, Mackenzie.
No. So I was already saying that Have you seen the latest episode, Desert? The latest
I'm
one?
a little behind, to be honest.
Okay.
I've been so swamped.
Yeah, but essentially what happens is Giorno's disguised and he has a conversation with someone in a car, and the word going around of someone that might be in the spotlight is Bruno himself, right? So right now Bruno has got somewhat of a target on his back, while we all know that Giorno did the assassination, right? That, like you say, right, it could come to bite them, and a friend doesn't have any problem in the gangster world, right, of popping you, right, when you least expect it. So these are the kind of gangster tropes that I think I was mentioning and some other people were mentioning that could come into play. We could talk about now introduction of these characters, the cast, right? Yeah, let's talk about them.
I want to speak real fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So this may be off the wall or something, but did you guys see the death flag that was presented in this episode? Like, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but like, from what I have learned, you know how Mista has this whole epidemic with 4?
Yeah. Obsession with the number, right?
Yeah. Well, I heard that 4 represents death. Like, it's even to a point where in Japan they don't have the number 4 in an elevator, so there's no 4th floor or whatnot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe he's superstitious about that though. Rather than him having the death flag.
No, not actually Mister, but like, if you notice, there was 4 slices of cheesecake and only one person ate the cake. Abacchio. Yeah. I don't know, but I'm saying like it's not something so serious. Like, I wanted to make a video on it and everything, but I just wanted to put it out there. We know this part is supposed to be violent and whatnot, and with Mister bringing up 4 and all of this stuff, I feel like it's not like, him showing that scene, I feel like it has importance. Maybe in the future, signifying his death.
I mean, you could be right, man. The paranoia that goes on in gangster films, when you know someone could get popped any second because of something or some little sign that you missed, and then you watch it again and you kind of realize, like De Niro, right? Like looking in Goodfellas, just looking around the room, you knew you want to kill like people coming in, then it could be the same as well. Like there could be a death flag. Like you could be right, honestly. Like later on we might find.
This kind of reminds me of something I've seen in have you any of you guys seen Sopranos or no?
Yeah, I've seen Sopranos. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in Sopranos, one of the guys gets made. His name is Christopher Moltisanti, and while he's getting made, he sees it reminds me of this for some reason. He sees a crow perched on a window right next to a statue of the Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
And then the crow disappears. 2 seasons later, Chris ends up dying right there and then, and he's killed by the boss himself.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like, I kind of do appreciate the sense of taking superstition and all that shit and just placing it into the gangster world. It's a nice nod to original gangster films.
Yeah.
And culture.
And usually it's intentional. Araki's not the kind of mangaka that just puts things in willy-nilly, right? Like there is somewhat of a meaning to everything, from the stands to the ticks, the ticks and the quirks that each of these characters has, I think. So I think you might be right, Memory Man. Like Ken, that there might be something to that, but I don't want to overanalyze it, overthink it, because then people start calling you pretentious overthinkers, right? Until we actually find out, right, what it is. So
that's a good theory, though, honestly, because I didn't even know about that the 4 thing, like the actual meaning and all that, and like the elevator thing with Japan. I did not know that, honestly. So.
Yeah, I just saw it because it was like the whole scene. He's the only one that had the piece of cheesecake. No one else took a piece. So I just thought to myself, why would Araki put this? Why would they animate this scene? This is like, if you think about it to an extent, it's like wasted then. Like, a scene of him just getting a cheesecake.
Yeah.
Where they could have just went on it, animated the character, like Mister's face talking, rather than showing the whole cheesecake scenario. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So talking about these characters, who stood out to you? Because I'm sure everyone in the chat wants to know, like, which character we gravitated towards. Like, which character to you stood out? Who do you think you're gonna like down the line?
Are we just talking about the new ones that were introduced in the episode 5, or just like Giorno and Bruno included?
The
new ones.
The new ones, yeah. Let's talk.
Okay. Honestly, like, Narancia is probably my favorite so far, and it's just because I feel like okay, what's his name? Fugo was like, the whole math problem thing. The man got stabbed and got stabbed in his cheek, right? And then there was his radio got destroyed, and all that. But I feel like they're gonna do this thing with Narancia where it's gonna be kind of like this underdog kind of story with him, because from what we see, okay, he's not really good with math, and he's older than Giorno. What is he, like 16, right?
Yeah.
16 or something like that. So yeah, this kid apparently hasn't been brought up in the best way. He doesn't have a basic education. It seems like, I just feel like they're gonna do this thing with Narancia where it's gonna be like this underdog kind of story. So I feel like there's a lot of potential with his character. I honestly felt bad for him in the episode because of the way they were kind of treating him and all that, messing with him.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I mean, I would say compared out of all the new characters we got in the newest episode, I feel like Narancia has for me has the most potential to have an impact on me, I guess I should say, just because I feel like they're gonna do something with him because of whenever we go more into his past and how he was brought up and all that, because it doesn't seem too well,
Yeah. What's funny, because it feels like these good characters are like anime versions of gangster stereotypes. Like, you've always got one paranoid, ultra paranoid one. You've got one that's dim-witted but really vicious. Like, Narancia's for me, the Joe Pesci character from Goodfellas. He's a little bit dim-witted, but he's vicious. He can be vicious as fuck if he needs to be, right? So I feel like it's a great spin on these characters. So they've got their anime side, right? They're the kind of eccentric anime side, but then they've got their gangster archetype thing. Did you notice that desert about these characters so far? You've always got the stoic one, there's the slick one, you've got the leader figure, you've got the paranoid, dim-witted, that kind of thing.
To be honest, I mean, I kind of noticed it with Panacota, because he's kind of it sounds like a weird comparison, but he kind of reminds me of Michael Corleone in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, he's got that, he's cold, he's calculative in a sense, but, when it comes to, but he could be fucking, but, all it takes is one little thing, and then, boom, he's fucking brutal as shit. Like that one scene that we brought, that Memory brought up with Narancia.
Yeah.
It just took one little fucking thing, and then boom, stabs the motherfucker with a fucking what's it called? With a fucking fork.
Fork, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, I think Panakota reminds me of Michael Corleone. I didn't notice it so much with the other characters. I should have, given one of them's name Mr. Guido.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really notice that, to be honest. And I'm glad you brought that up. But yeah.
You guys think that because this is very, it's got gangster theme going on, that there will be some backstabbing and stuff, just in general? I'm not talking about particular backstabbing, but you think that,
to be honest, I don't think that's going to, specifically with this crew, I don't think that's going to happen, because usually like backstabbing only happens when you get the cops involved.
Yeah, but they're on the take though. Like, they've already established that they're somewhat on the take, these cops. So, but you're right though. Yeah, the cops might not get involved because they seem to turn a blind eye to a lot of the deaths.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I'm sorry about that. I was gonna say, like, I don't see it happening like among our group, but I could definitely see as we maybe get introduced to like some more characters, which there's still a lot more characters to be introduced, I would imagine. I feel like that could be a potential thing that happens, but I don't think among our group, I don't see that happening, honestly.
I really think that Passion, to be honest, I do feel that in the larger scope of things, Passion is going to be like, I mean, I feel like it's going to be like, you know, every man for himself in a sense, in terms of like the gang itself, because Passion doesn't feel like a typically structured gang in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't feel as fucking organized. It's just like, okay, you got your boss, and then you have all these little.
A lot of them are doing like their own little things, you know?
Yeah, just like, fuck this, we're just gonna do whatever the fuck we want to do. So, you know, if one person wants to take out another, then fuck it. They'll do whatever. They'll do whatever the fuck they want. The boss probably doesn't care, whoever the fuck he is. He'll just do it anyway. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Ken. I mean, you brought up the strawberry cheesecake and the number 4 thing, right? About the death flag. Do you think there'll be backstabbing going on, Ken? Personally, or do you think it might just be a more traditional death to an antagonist?
Honestly, yeah, I don't feel like there would be any backstabbing going on. But if I had to put my pick on who would backstab, it would have to be Abakio.
Yeah,
I would feel like it would be him.
No,
but like
I
I don't believe anyone would backstab.
I really don't think. Abakio doesn't seem like the guy who's going to backstab at all. I don't know, because like the thing is, like, why? Okay, I feel as though that Abakio places his family first. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been like saying, "I don't fucking trust Giorno." He wouldn't be as willing to accept him as like he wouldn't be. He wouldn't be testing Giorno so much as he did, and especially with the whole entire piss thing, for God's sake. Because the fact is, like, if I was somebody that I wanted to backstab, like, I wanted to backstab my whole crew, I would just be looking at this guy and I'd be like, how can I fucking use him? I'll just take him in and I'll fucking use him for whatever games I have. And, you know, whenever I'm done with him, I'll fucking throw him under the rug. You know?
Yeah. I mean, these guys are answerable to someone, aren't they? They're not just answerable to Bruno's got this de facto kind of leadership role, like keeps them alive, but they do answer to someone, don't they? These guys?
I mean, they were supposed to answer to Popo. Since he was supposed to be the turf leader and whatnot. But I guess right now, since like he's dead, there's really no one in
Is it just Bruno? It'll just kind of be Bruno. Huh?
Yeah, Bruno's moving up, you know what I mean? Especially with this money, if he manages to find it.
If anything, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I don't want to say this. I don't want to assume too much. But even Giorno's screwing over. We've established that Giorno's got no problem using people to make his way up. What if Giorno is the one that does it? You know what I mean? Like, it would be interesting, I think.
Look, I mean, let's face it. When it comes to all the this is a thing that I talk about all the time when it comes to JoJo's. When it comes to the JoJo's.
Yeah.
No matter who they're fucking with, they're not going to be betraying anybody, because let's face it, the JoJo is a basic archetype in itself. They never betrayed their friends. They always back whoever they're with. And, you know, it's just always placing their morals first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't think they'd do that to him? They wouldn't pay him in that kind of light?
I don't think so at all, because, like, he is a JoJo at heart. You know, I mean, that's how JoJos are typically structured.
He's also a deer, though. He's also a deer, though.
Hey, Dio may have been piloting the mech, but the mech is still Jonathan at heart.
I want to believe that. Honestly, I've said that to people that I want to believe
That
that
always makes
for
me
sure.
wonder, like,
Yeah.
whose son is he really? Is he Jonathan's son, or is he Dio's son, or is it just some sort of weird tri-brid?
I don't know, man. All I know is that sperm doesn't come from your head, man. Like it comes from down under. I mean, so like it's got to be Jonathan's, right?
DNA and that shit. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, it's so confusing. You know.
One thing I wanted to, sorry about that. One thing I wanted to bring up that like kind of caught my attention a little bit because like they kind of made it a focus point like in the episode, like was seeing like how much the others have respect and like how much they look up to Bruno. Like you saw that from the group like that we met, ourselves, but we also saw like the civilians and all of that, like who come to like Bruno for a lot of things and look up to him and all of that, have respect for him. Something that like I'm surprised that the others didn't come to like kind of trust Giorno more quickly because of how they like, Bruno brought Giorno in and they all have respect for Bruno. So from like, I was thinking from their perspective, they were going to be like, okay, Bruno's bringing this guy in. Like we all have this respect, trust, in Bruno. So
I mean,
him placing his trust into bringing this guy in, like, but like with Abaccio, like I think Desert mentioned it, like he's like the one whose trust is like the hardest to earn. And that does make sense why I don't think he would be the one to like backstab, is because like, he's the hardest to get the trust up and he wants to, make sure 100%, like no, like not even like 99.9%. Like he wants to make sure that he can, trust you like all the way. But that was something that I found interesting, was that like, because of the respect they have for Bruno and all that.
Yeah, it reminds me of Donnie Brasco when Pacino brings Depp into. He goes, he's a friend of mine or friend of ours, right? So he vouches for him, and if you vouch for someone that turns out to be a scum, like deceptive, then you take the responsibility, right? I feel like what you're saying, Memory, is actually correct. That he's vouched for him and he's taken a lot of responsibility on, but he's also got a lot of target painting on his back because of it, right? Because he's vouching for someone that might have an agenda, which I feel might be the case. Now, I think the Desert's right. They wouldn't undermine the JoJo character like that by making him screw someone over. But in this context, it reminds me of Donnie Brasco, where you could get away with the main MC just kind of like using these guys to get what he wants and kind of walking away from it slightly like untarnished. So I feel Bruno's got a target on his back, but that's just me, man. Like taking gangster like films into account.
Or maybe they pull this thing where like, maybe Giorno is trying to use these guys like for the time being, but as he spends more time with them and is with them more and gets into whatever with them, like he actually like maybe comes to like a realization like why am I using these people for, now we know what his goal is, what he wants to do, but they could do something like that. I can maybe see.
He can probably get to know him and then say, you know what, I was gonna do this, but look, man, I stepped back because you guys are my comrades. I mean, I can see that happening. Yeah, I can see that.
But all
there's a lot of possibilities.
Their goals align, so it's like we know Bruno isn't down with the drugs and whatnot being given to the children, and you can see like this episode that we recently watched, episode 5, the guilt he felt when he heard from the old lady that her son was, abusing her due to drugs. Like when you see that face, because it's like he's someone who's trusted over here, and it's like he's also the person who's, like in this organization that is giving drugs, supplying them to your kids. So it's like he's being trusted, but then it's like there's this other part to him. You can see the guilt in his face. So when you put that into effect, and how Giorno, he like wants to get rid of the drugs, even if he has a other motive. That's like our main focus that we know of right now. I feel like it's going to be pretty hard for it, for that to happen to a point where Giorno is using everyone in that extent. But then, who knows? Like I said, he's complex, right?
I feel. Yeah. Do you think these Bruno and Bruno particularly has a background of trauma with drugs, like drugs in particular, like from his childhood or his past? Because like when he went up to the old dude with the shiner on his eye, like he was like pretty chill. But when he had the D word, he just went fucking ape shit. Like you can see him trigger, right? Yeah. Like these guys seem to have a traumatic past with drugs in their family or drugs somewhere, and I'm guessing we don't really know fully Giorno's past. We only know that he looked up to this gangster figure he saved, right? And I think there might be more to it than we know, and we'll find that out afterwards. So, like you said, they align, right? For now, they align, but then we find out a little bit more, maybe, about these guys' past and how they might be different. What do you think, Desert?
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, I blanked out for a few seconds. I mean, I do this whole entire drug ordeal.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up something else aside from that, but I'm sorry. Could you repeat your question? Pardon.
Yeah, I mean, all we know about Giorno's past is that he looked up to this gangster figure that he saved, right? And he kind of admired him, and he grew into this admiring him, this gangster figure, right? But I think there's more to it. Like I said, Giorno's agenda might be more to it, which we don't fully know. Bruno, yeah.
Oh, his mother was a bit of was constantly partying, so it's possible that drugs may have been also an integral part of his life because of the fact that his mother may have been a junkie.
Yeah. Do you think Bruno's also had a traumatic past with drugs, which is why they don't seem to blink an eye to anything else, but drugs seem to be like a trigger word for them?
I mean, most likely. Most likely, possibly because of the fact that, maybe what I think is this. Like, he freaked out as soon as he knew a kid was what's it called? That this shit was being peddled to kids, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe it could have been like a young relative, maybe like a little brother or something like that got hooked on drugs, and that's why he's fucked up.
Yeah.
That could be one possibility when you think about it as a character.
Yeah.
That's something I'm excited about. Like, with this is like, we still have to go into like a lot of these characters, backstories or their past and what's kind of shaped them, to be the ways they are now.
Do you think it's possible that we're overthinking it and it's something very simple? It's not as complex or as deep as that. Do you think we might be able? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, I was asking you guys. Do you think we might be overthinking it and it's not as complex as we think it is? Like, traumatic childhoods and conflicting agendas and that kind of thing. And it's something more rudimentary than that.
I mean, let's face it. No offense to JoJo, this is what makes JoJo amazing, and it's they always keep it fucking simple.
Yeah, they do.
So I think we're just overthinking it. But you know what I'm surprised that they didn't do with the whole entire drug thing?
Yeah,
is they didn't decide to. Pardon me. What I'm surprised that they didn't do is they didn't decide to utilize the drugs as a way of getting more soldiers into this mafia and getting more stand users.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
A brilliant way to do that shit,
Like,
you got some junkie and he just needs a fix or some shit like that, and they're just like, all right, you need another fix. If they face the prospect of dying, though, to the arrow, I think they'd refuse. They have to be unwilling participants. Well, they wouldn't fucking know what the arrow was. They would just have to say, okay, you just got to get pierced by this.
I want my drugs. I want my drugs.
I mean, I've seen junkies get I've heard of junkies just smashing their fingers just to get opioids and all that shit. I wouldn't be surprised if they stabbed themselves with a fucking arrow.
Oh yeah, they'll go to whatever. Whatever is necessary for them to get there. Because where I live, there's where I used to work, actually, there was a lot of that. Like, these people would have a shopping cart with 500 pounds of stuff in it to come get some money and get their fix for the day.
Yeah.
So
there's no reason to believe that isn't the case. You could be right, Desert. Maybe it's like a headcanon sort of thing where you could just assume that might actually be what's going on, and they get people who are hooked to come in and be participants, willing or unwilling, if possible. We could find that out later on. I wouldn't put it past, and even if it isn't the case, it wouldn't surprise me if that was happening. We'll get Ken back.
It wouldn't be that hard to do, and if somebody dies, it's just one less druggie on the street. That's what the people would be thinking in that story.
Yeah, actually, one thing I wanted to bring up is it might be easy to sleep on this topic, but what do you think Koichi and Jotaro's involvement will be in this show? I know this is very much Giorno and his crew's show, but what do you think Koichi's?
I think it's going to be very, very limited. It's not going to be I don't think it's going to be like Jotaro was in part 4. I don't think Jotaro's even going to be involved in that shit, because if they bring back Jotaro, that's kind of you know, that's kind of like, okay.
This man
that's
spans
fair.
across like almost every part.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a
It's
problem
just like
with.
it's too
But
much.
like,
I feel like it would
yeah,
just be a
yeah.
little bit too much. I mean, Koichi is kind of like, it's whatever. He's more like I think Koichi in this part is similar to how what's his name, Speedwagon
Yeah.
was in a sense. You know, he was in
Yeah.
part 1, then he was in part 2, and then Joseph became like, you know, the Speedwagon in this case. I think that's how Koichi is going to function in this case. He's going to be like limited help here and there,
Yeah.
but he's not going to be like, really, really attached to it. You know?
Ken, we were
And I don't
saying
expect Josuke being there either.
Josuke. Yeah, I don't really see him be. Ken, we were saying like, what do you think Koichi and Jotaro's role is going to be in this season? Do you think it'll be integral, kind of important at certain points, or do you think they'll be pretty light on their roles? Ken.
Actually, I do believe that we will get more Koichi sprinkled in. Jotaro, like, even though I love Jotaro's presence, like, love Jotaro, I feel I wouldn't really want to see him this part, because let's really think about it. Let's say we're fighting this, you know, the boss. We finally make it to the boss, and then we have help from Jotaro or something like that. It wouldn't feel right.
Yeah.
Just having Koichi around, I feel like, if you look at it to an extent, Koichi, you can say he's around the same age category as everyone here.
Yeah.
You know, just the whole thing with drugs being given to children, I feel like with him having him here, he could kind of sympathize with the situation. It would make sense. While having someone like Jotaro, who's a full-grown adult, yeah, he may understand the situation, but I feel like it should just be Koichi, and if not, no one from Part 4. Just we got Koichi, we got Jotaro, we got our bits of them. Now let's just keep it with this crew for Part 5 and going on.
Memory, your thoughts about their role in this season?
I honestly feel like this beginning part, like, I honestly feel like we're not going to see too much of Koichi or Jotaro. Like, I feel like this part that we've had at the beginning, the first 5 episodes, is the most we'll see of them in the whole thing, honestly. Because, I mean, like, what was Koichi's whole reasoning for, like, you know, he was here to, like, kind of investigate Giorno, right? And then, like, this all goes to, like, how he talked about him, comparing him to the other JoJo's, you know? Like, I feel like that's, like, you know, Koichi, what I forget exactly how he worded it, but he said something like, I think he said something along the lines of like, oh, we don't have like to worry about him or something along those lines.
So
but I feel like that, like, through these first 5 episodes, what we've had from Koichi and Jotaro so far is the most we're gonna get of them. Like, if we see them like anywhere in the future, it's gonna be like here and there, like very randomly, I feel like.
So these are just handing off one season to another group of characters. It's more like a handoff, right?
Yeah,
Where Joseph appears,
like an extended, kind of handoff. Yeah,
because I'm not gonna lie, I like Koichi, but I think they might have overdone him. If he's shown any more in this season, they would have overdone him. I love that little shit, but I think he's become like the Polnareff of this show, the new, you know, like Polnareff's Bizarre Adventure, right? Like people were memeing that back on Part 3. But if they show too much Koichi, I'd feel that he's gonna tread into that kind of over-egg territory, man. So I agree with you guys. I hope he has a smaller role. I wish Jotaro had maybe a little bit bigger role. It's just weird that Jotaro has kind of hung up his boots like a marine biologist or whatever it is. So it's just weird, you know. But I do miss Jotaro though. You know,
like, I think if they do have like Koichi may have like periodic like kind of moments where maybe he's like watching or notices something from Giorno and he reports on it. Like that's literally it. But I don't think it's gonna be like very random and very like it's not gonna happen much like at all.
Honestly, I do love though how Koichi, like when you see that scene and how he put all his fate in like Giorno, for example, like when he's on the phone with Jotaro and he's like, yeah, don't worry about it, he's not a problem. I feel like that was a real big move on Koichi's end because he literally put all his trust on Giorno. Like he put all his trust there. Who knows what can happen, what goes down the line, and things could, you know, go bad, which I doubt will happen. But if things had went bad, it would have been on Koichi's, you know, on him.
Right.
That's
crazy how quick he earned like his trust though. Like how quickly he said, okay, like this man's good. Like, you know, he's all right. I see like I see him in the other JoJo's. Like that's like, you know, for him to notice that, you know, pick up on that pretty quickly is, you know.
Getting killed by an enemy stand does that to you.
Let's talk about the tail end of episode 5. Actually, I'll go back to the desert. Sorry, I was going to say dessert.
Just say DT, man.
So DT. Sorry, man. DT. I was going to say we obviously on that little boat, right? That little cruise boat thing, and this was the first appearance of what looks like another enemy stand, right? And it reminded me of that baboon from part 3 with that ship.
With the rapier that popped out at the end, right?
Rapier, yeah, that one, yeah. And it reminded me of that stand in part 3 with the orangutan, right? And he had the ship that he formed, right? And that rapier, right? What did you guys think of that rapier? Because we've seen a rapier before, right? A stand with a rapier before. What did you guys think of that? I'll start with you, DT.
Well, I think everybody's gonna get raped. That's for sure.
Anything more than that, though? You think thought anything more?
I don't know why, but something was bugging me when I was watching that episode. Like, have you noticed that as soon as Giorno got stabbed, like it looked like he was almost dehydrated in a sense or something like that?
Yep. Yes. That I was kind of used that to think of an ability that he might have. The stand.
Like I only have two thoughts on this. One, it either sucks out the water out of everybody, which would be instant death, and I don't think Araki would do that because you got no fucking story at that point. Or two, and this is just I'm throwing this out there. I think it may suck the air out of people. Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, we saw, like the looks on their faces, like it looks like they look like wrinkled or something. Like it was like I was like, what the heck is happening with them?
Where do you think the stand user is? The actual stand user. Where do you think he is? Is he in the water?
He's definitely inside the boat. I mean, I think he just snuck on there. When nobody was fucking looking or some shit. I mean, he's definitely either inside the boat, like underneath, or he's like underwater. Like maybe he has some sort of scuba gear or some shit. Because granted, it's a small ass boat.
Yeah.
You know? There's not that many places he could be hiding.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I was wondering. And Bachio kind of stood up, right, and then he was ready to kind of go toe to toe. What do you think his power is? His stand power? Do you have any guesses or any sort of theories about what his power might be to contend with?
Bachio's power?
Yeah, Bachio's.
Well, we already saw it can create zippers out of anything, but I think there's something more to it. Because you notice how everybody's like, whenever the zippers were opened. And since you saw this you saw this weird distortion of colors.
Yeah.
I'm calling it, I'm betting on wormhole or some shit, like a little pocket dimension where, he could store shit or pop out. You know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't make sense because, in their initial fight, when they were fighting against each other, like legit, Bachio was like a few meters.
No, that was Bruno that he was fighting, wasn't he? I'm talking about
Oh, my bad. Maybe I did. Did I mishear you?
Did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I think they're playing it close to their chest because at the end of once you see the latest episode, you'll realize what we're saying. They were playing it really close to their chest because they didn't even want to show his stand. He was his head was peeking out behind him. I'm just asking you guys what you think his powers might be, Ken or Memi.
I actually have a few things I want to speak on with the whole lagoon situation, like going into the boat. I don't know if many of you guys have noticed this, but I rewatched the episode twice. And if you look specifically at the scene where they're on the boat, they get handed the key for like Lagoon number 1, but they're actually on Lagoon 2. So so if you notice, it's kind of weird, right? You get the key for number 1, but you're actually on number 2. So I just wanted to bring that up. I don't think it was an error on David Productions' point. I feel like it has maybe something to do with the situation. Yeah.
Didn't they tell them not to go on the 1 boat too?
Nah, they told them not to go on the 4 boat because
on the 4,
Mr. was like, it was definitely gonna sink or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Honestly though, when it comes to Abakio, like hopefully I'm not butchering his name because who knows how to pronounce it. There's so many different pronunciations and whatnot. But I feel like they said that his stand is best for this. I feel like it has something to do with maybe it could see certain locations, like a X-ray vision kind of thing. And if you do look at like the face, like the way the eyes are set up, it kind of has a weird look to it. Something like that. Around those lines.
I want to get a good look at Abakio's stand for a minute. Maybe pardon me for a second, but do continue.
I mean, we're anime only, right? So they haven't shown it. I mean, if you do look it up, you'll probably find a manga scan, which we tried to avoid, right?
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've been so fucking busy that the only reason I haven't finished the JoJo episode. I'll be honest. I've been so fucking busy with shit back and forth between my university and all that, that it's
Yeah.
just been hard to keep track.
Yeah, no, it's
Part
cool.
of me.
It's cool. I
It's a
mean,
big part of me.
yeah, I mean, you're basically almost caught up anyway, so like it's good enough. But yeah, once you watch the episode, there'll be more context for what we're saying. Do you think the stand is the boat itself though? You guys can memory.
Oh no, hell no.
Oh,
offense,
you
but-
know, honestly,
Hell no.
Yeah.
They already
actually, I
pulled
don't
that
think
shit
so.
once,
Because
they're
if
not
you
gonna pull that
think
shit
about it,
twice.
Yeah.
it wouldn't happen. But it's like, all right, where could the stand be? We obviously think it's like underneath the ship and whatnot.
Yeah,
But it's and where's the user? That's a big thing too. Is the
Yeah.
user under the
Yeah.
under like the boat
Is
as
he
well?
on the boat, under the boat, or like
Yeah.
like where? Yeah.
And what
Is it-
happens to the bodies is a big thing too. Like,
yeah.
is it, I don't know. Like this is
The great thing is these are like puzzles, right? These stand fights are now like puzzles. You're trying to figure out where they are. Do you remember in part 3 where there was a guy behind the mirror with the sun, and he was just like a little nerd sitting there with the sun stand?
Yeah, I remember that.
It reminds me.
yeah.
It reminds me.
He was in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, and they were all laughing. It reminds me of that. You're trying to figure out where he is
Oh, wait,
geographically.
Is it possible that the stand could also be an automatic stand or something along those lines? Or that it could be very, very fucking long distance?
Yeah, actually, I'm with Desert here. My assumption is he might be an automatic remote control stand. That, like, for me personally, I feel that what DT's saying is more in line with it. But I still think they could pull another like sun stand with us
Yeah.
where somewhere.
They pulled that off in the first episode with Black Sabbath, so I don't think they want to do another long distance one.
Well, it would make
We
sense. if the
definitely
stand
wanna
was
see a
more
full battle, right?
automatic, because as soon as Giorno popped his head, bam, that thing fucking attacked right there and then. Like,
Yeah.
it was like,
True.
What?
Yeah. Where is he watching from exactly? Where are you
yeah,
seeing?
like where could he see? I mean, I don't think that maybe I'm starting to think that, yeah, maybe an automatic stand, because it was just like so locked onto any movement whatsoever. You know,
Yeah.
that it fucking jumped on that shit immediately.
But
Yeah,
if it's
that's
an
my
automatic
personal
stand, so then what does it attack on? Maybe sounds or something like that, or like
I would say movement. That's the closest thing, because
Mhm,
like
movement.
when Giorno was in the air, he was
Yeah.
moving. There, it wasn't so much sound. It wasn't so much sight. It can't
Yeah.
be sight, because that would be fucking ridiculous.
It's also
So I
like
think more movement.
it's also likely that we assume they're dead, or their friends assume they're dead, but their own stand powers can maybe prevent something happening to them, but they actually out of view or obscured or something. Because I think this is a good testing ground for not only Abakio's power, but to actually end up seeing the other characters' powers and how it all works
Yeah.
together. But I'm wondering, who do you think stand this is? Is it a faction, rival faction? Is it someone Popo's organization said? Who do you think it is? Who's stand?
actually?
I think it's somebody who thinks that there was something up with Popo's murder. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to
Fortune.
admit, like a suicide right there and then, that's gonna look fucking fishy as shit.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly.
I mean, Popo had everything he fucking wanted. Why would you kill yourself?
Yeah,
So
It must be one. It must be someone who has like maybe a target on Bruno, or has a thing for Bruno,
Yeah.
or something to do with Popo's like fortune that he's left behind, and he knows that, you know, or like they know that Bruno would be the one the next in line, kind of to go after that or take that in.
yeah,
Something that like with what we saw with Narancha, and then you know, Giorno like leaping out like that, which he's doing that to make a point to Abaccio. Like, I feel like this whole scene with this stand, like whatever's going on here, is it's all gonna be like dependent, like how we get out of the situation. It's gonna be dependent on Abaccio, because I feel like that's what they're trying to make the kind of focus here, is like his stand, and Giorno gaining the trust of the group. So I feel like whatever Abaccio's stand is, I have honestly no clue. Like, I mean, we saw what it looks like at the, like, I think it was Ken who said it kind of reminded him of Killer Queen. Like, I definitely agree with that. But I did notice something above, like,
The forehead.
the eyes. Yeah, the forehead. It had like some like weird kind of characters or symbols on it. I don't know if that's gonna like have to do anything with actually his stand or what, but I'm gonna have to go look back at it. I just remember that there was like some like weird symbols or like characters on the on his forehead.
yeah,
But yeah, I feel like this whole like how it's sorted out is gonna be like kind of Abachio's time to shine, like the first character out of the group to shine and see his like stand on full display. So.
Yeah. Do you think?
Honestly-
Sorry, go on, Ken. Go on.
Oh, what I was gonna say is like bringing back what who could have possibly been in in the situation and whose stand this could be. If you remember like the first bits of the episode where you have those two driving in the car and they were talking about Bruno and the money and whatnot.
Yeah.
If you look like that guy disappeared right in the driver's seat. And he just disappeared. I feel like it's kind of connected with that. We did also learn about like different fractions that they have, like different teams. Like they have the assassination team and whatnot. Maybe something along those lines. And we do know like the way everything is organized with Passione. It's not like not everyone is with each other. And Bruno has been said like he doesn't communicate with everyone there. So there could be a chance people are after him for the money as well.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you guys? We can kind of re-explore this later, like in the other future podcasts and stuff. Do you think this particular season is going to push the JoJo mythology and lore? Do you think they'll incorporate that? Because every season gives us something, right? We got the arrows. Now we've got a protagonist who's
I think it's going to further talk about the arrow. To be honest, that is a very crucial part in the whole entire Stan mythology. And when you think about it, like the Stan, I feel like the arrow was kind of like central to this whole entire shit when you think about it. Because it's like you see, with the Popol episode, as soon as Popol died, there was like a shot that focused exclusively on the arrow itself.
Yeah.
So that's my personal take. I think it's going to be focusing around the arrow again for the second goddamn time.
Do you think it's to do with the head of the organization? That the head of the organization is actually someone really crucial to this? And he's tied somehow to events that maybe took place in the past with arrows and all that kind of thing. Do you think the big enemy, this overlord of this season or this show, has actually some ties to the great JoJo mythology? You guys think?
He's gonna be old. Like he definitely has to be old if he has ties. Because we did get the arrow in part 3, right?
Yeah.
And like how much years has that been? Like that's really so.
Yeah, and briefly in part 4 as well, we got it. Like
part 3 to part 4, and like over that time period, I don't know, but I definitely think. Why would they bring? I mean, of course, it makes sense that they would bring back up the arrows because it's something that will never go away. It creates stands, and there's definitely going to be future stands and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually bring this up because DT. This is the first time DT's been on these podcasts. Do you think the guy who runs the organization has a stand himself? Can we automatically assume that the guy's got a stand?
He didn't, because think about it. Why would they be recruiting about stand users if the guy who runs the organization wasn't aware of a stand? What the hell a stand is?
I only say that because the old woman, who's that old woman who had the arrow that was working for Dio?
Yeah.
Her. Like she didn't. She had power. She didn't have
had a stand though.
Did she?
Yeah, she had one. I forgot the name exactly, but she definitely had a stand.
Was there an explanation about how she was born with a stand, or she got given a stand as well? What was the? Because
she had a powerful stand, didn't she?
Yeah. Like, it was like some Reaper kind of stand thing.
Yeah. I mean, what I mean is,
it had something to do with like if someone was wounded. Like if someone had like
about Judgment 13, I'm a little confused.
Enya's stand.
Yeah, the old woman with the arrow.
Oh, I'm sorry. You had me so confused.
Yeah, like I only say because like you said, like, I mean you were right though. You brought up it needs to push the arrow mythology a bit further, right? But her herself, right? Was she born with stand powers, or was she given stand powers, and now she's going around arrowing everyone and doing that?
What makes me so confused though as to like this whole entire concept of stands. Okay. So in part 3, they mentioned that stands are the reason why stands were triggered was because of Dio's resurrection.
Yeah.
But now they're saying that the stands are caused by arrows, by the arrow.
Yeah, I guess they are now, but I guess back then maybe they were.
I mean, how I look at it is connected, right? Because when because of Dio, he had Enya on his side, and I think her stand was like something with justice. He had her on her side, and because of her,
13.
And like because of her and like the stand arrow, that's how stands were formed. So it's like to an extent, because of Dio, he had someone like Enya making stand users for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's just like I feel like.
Then why? Hold up a second. If the arrow is the cause of the stands, then why would Jotaro have a stand, even though he wasn't pierced by the arrow?
Because I believe some people, like if you have Hamon energy or something along those lines, you can earn stands naturally by even encountering stand users. So you don't need to be necessarily pierced by the arrow. You can have stand abilities when you're born, and if you encounter a stand user, your abilities awaken.
So stands are actually a Joestar bloodline thing. They're not particularly a Dio thing, right? It's only because he is the body of he is the body of Joseph that he has the world basically. Yeah.
Yeah, the arrows are just to force the stand like into you. So like if you don't have a stand, you get the arrow. If you die, you can't have stands. But if you live, you can manage to have a stand.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds fair. I mean, like DT said, man. Like, I hope this season really pushes the arrow stuff, and it seems like it's going that way, right? With the arrows.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Like with.
It does make me wonder what the hell would happen if a stand user got pierced with the stand arrow.
Oh yeah, true. What could happen, honestly? You know what I was always thinking though? What if we're already seeing the boss, but we just don't know it? Because we have to remember
we don't know his name or his face.
We don't know how he looks. So imagine like we already seen him.
Is it like that Kira joke from last season where you actually get to see Kira before he actually appears or something? Exactly. Yeah. Maybe we could have seen him. Honestly, you might be right, man. Like. It would be jokes if they picked up on that.
I think he's like you guys are saying you think he's like some old like I don't want to say like an old geezer, but I mean like he's I would assume he's pretty old, you know, like.
I don't think he would be old to be honest. I mean, I think he's going to be relatively young because like let's face it.
Maybe Jotaro age.
Maybe his powers or something to do with it. Could be stand power. Who knows?
True. That's a good point. Yeah.
Think about how young these guys are entering the organization. I mean, 15, 16. Jesus Christ.
But Paranoia has been around for a while now. So, and if he's the boss, like he created, I'd say he would be around Jotaro's age, around that time.
I think he's like, I think he's way older than like Giorno and them.
Yeah, way older, but not younger.
30s. I'm guessing like in his 30s.
Yeah, 30s, 35.
That's a pretty good estimate. Yeah.
Do you guys think this?
I wouldn't picture him as like a fucking old man in a wheelchair.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't think he's like some old geezer, but he's like definitely older. Like.
Yeah. What do you guys think this guy's agenda is? I mean, beyond just the criminal organization and having a monopoly and stuff, do you think there's a bigger scheme at play? It's something to do with these stands?
I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, what else can you pull? I mean, Dio wanted to conquer the world and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of brought it up, Makenchi, like possibly like with the arrows or something, that he has something to do with the arrows. Like I could see that being also another thing as well.
My question is,
possibly.
why did Popo have the arrow in the first place? Why didn't he keep the arrow? You know?
Yeah.
Maybe he has multiple, because we do know there's.
Yeah, we knew. Yeah. Yeah, we do know there's multiple. So.
And plus, you know, there's different capos out there, so maybe they have arrows as well that they do for their own tests, like how Popo did for Giorno.
For Giorno, yeah. And it's a great initiation as well. Almost, it's like they've taken this arrow concept and then turned it into inserted it basically into the like we said, the gangster tropes, right? The initiations, the tests, and all that kind of thing. So it's kind of cool. But I do want it to push the mythology a bit more because. Like we're approaching the parts of JoJo now where we're moving so much away from the old kind of legendary Joseph and Dio and all that, and to bring a Dio, someone with Dio's blood in him, I think it would be missing a trick if you didn't at least clarify or fill in some plot holes and that kind of thing.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you.
No. You go ahead.
Am I the only one who keeps on thinking that every single one of the characters in this show kind of looks like something out of a Prince fever dream?
It does, yeah. We were asking that last week.
As soon as I heard Gold Experience and I saw Giorno, I was just like, oh my god, he looks like Prince.
Yeah, they got more feminine as each part goes on. Yeah,
based off Prince, I really love that too because it's like. You really see how Prince has affected this whole part, just the clothing and all of that. I really love it, honestly. Like I thought that was pretty cool and awesome. Just how Araki will willingly put music, like implement every like thing within music into his work. Just like that's awesome. Like
And
it's
Kira
not even
was-
just the names. It's not even just like the names of these people.
Exactly.
Like it's actually like their fashion, the actual meaning behind their albums or their songs. Like it's not just I know Ken brought that up earlier, but that is like definitely true. Like it's not just throwing the names of these like historical people in the music industry out there just for the hell of it. There's actually like meaning behind it.
And even like going deeper, like in part 4, where Kira was based on David Bowie, but obviously his stands and stuff were based on Queen, right?
Looked nothing like David Bowie at all, man.
Well, people say that, and he's a fan of David Bowie, so like there was a phase, right, that David Bowie went through. I think you're thinking of a different phase that David Bowie had, right, when he was dressing and basically like what you'd imagine Prince
like with the Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt, face paint. Yeah, there was another phase where he's in suits and kind of more androgynous looking.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the way.
That's a hot take.
I mean, to be honest, I am a huge. I'm just gonna put this out there for a second. I am a huge Queen fan, and I was a little bit disappointed by Killer Queen. I don't know why, but I just felt like I was disappointed by Killer Queen.
I was disappointed by Kira, the character, but not Killer Queen though.
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed with Killer Queen. I mean, I wasn't disappointed with Kira either. I like them both. I mean, but I wasn't really disappointed.
Yeah. So is it
named Freddie Mercury? That would be shit.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. Maybe sometime down the line, maybe even this season, we might get Freddie Mercury or something.
Well,
yeah.
You know what else I've been also thinking? You know how this whole like what was presented this episode was getting Popo's treasure, and Bruno mentions he's the one who hid it. What if it's not there? Like I haven't seen many people mention this, but what if the treasure isn't there? Like
someone already got to it, or
Popo moved it or something? Because it's like I don't know.
Or what if the boss got a hold of it? Maybe.
Oh yeah,
that could.
But how? I heard, but they said no one knows. But then again, the boss knows.
Now that I think about it, maybe people wouldn't be as pissed at the death of Popo.
Exactly, because it's open season for money, like 10.
No, not just because of that. It's also because like the thing is like you got. I mean, everybody knows how the mafia works. If you make a huge fucking killing, you don't hide that shit. You pay your dues to the boss.
Yeah.
So
do you think it's going to be like a red herring, like a Pulp Fiction briefcase thing? The Popo's money. They're going to use it as a kind of red herring to keep things going, and it's just they'll never find it, or we won't know. Like it's just a reason, I guess, for all these factions to kind of go after it, like you say, like open season.
I don't really think so. Honestly, I feel like the money won't really have. I mean, I don't know. Because you see, will the money have a big impact this season? We do know like Bruno's motive is to get this money, and with this money, he can skyrocket.
Yeah, he wants to move up.
Gain trust. Yeah, to gain trust from one of the capos or anyone close to the boss for us to take out the boss. Yeah, so we do know like the money plays into that role, but definitely people will go for it, but I don't know exactly.
I'm wondering who's gonna take like Popo's because Popo was a capo, right?
Yeah.
So like you like, I mean, Bruno was the one directly under Popo, so wouldn't you think it would make sense that Bruno would slide into that kind of role?
Yeah.
I mean, if this fortune's kind of been like almost like entrusted to him, like
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily true. I mean, just because Bruno was under Popo, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to inherit the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
Usually in terms of the mob, it's always like whenever a capo dies and they have like a bit of a fortune to themselves, it doesn't go to the underlings. It just goes to one of the other capos who knew him best.
Yeah.
Right. I still could see Bruno filling those like shoes though. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what Bruno wants to do. He wants to move up, so.
They did say Popo trusted only Bruno though. Like he didn't trust anyone else. That was also mentioned.
Yeah. But that's also why I feel like he's got a target on his back as well. Because who would have most, if he was to inherit his role, who would have most to gain from that, right? So that's why his name keeps coming up, right? So I feel, it's too early to really like do it. But I feel because we know that there's gangster tropes in this, that we can kind of see where things will go, how people react based on this hierarchy that they've got, right? This kind of mafia gangster system. So, is there anything? Yeah.
I was gonna I have to go, guys.
Yeah. Well, we can wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, was anything?
No. I mean, I want you guys to keep going because I'm gonna watch. I have to take my brother to work. I just want to say, thanks for having me, and
No worries.
I'll be watching the rest of the other cast. And until next time.
I have memory.
All right, see you around,
Peace,
man.
guys.
Take care, memory.
Be safe,
You too,
brother.
guys.
Yeah. I want to say, is there anything else you guys want to talk about in terms of your anticipations for next week's episode, Ken and DT? Anything you're expecting?
Well, I'm not going to be able to watch next week's episode because I'm going to be working in the lab all week.
What about you, Ken? What are you expecting from next week?
I definitely want to see Abakio's stand ability, see what
Same.
he, what he can do. I want to see a great battle. Even though Black Sabbath, like the whole battle, I'm not saying that it was bad. I want to see this one, things really going into line. You know what I mean? It's real stand fight. And I also want to see, because we do know that it's not just Abakio by himself. Bruno's there. Will Bruno also help? That's a thing that I've been wondering. So will it be a tag team kind of thing, like Abakio and Bruno faces this anonymous man?
Yeah. I want to ask you guys of this crew, right? But let's take Giorno out of the equation. Between Bruno, Abakio, Fugo, and Narancha, which of these guys do you think is strongest of this group?
Ooh.
I don't want to assume Bruno automatically has got the strongest. Who would you assume?
Bruno, Abakio, and Giorno, you said?
Fugo, Narancha, Abakio, and Bruno. Amongst those guys, the crew, basically. Who would you assume is... Except Giorno. I just...
Bruno's like the fucking top. He probably kicked the shit out of everybody.
Honestly, it's so hard to say because right now we only have Bruno's ability, and Bruno's ability is broken because literally he can pop into your house. You could be taking a dump and he can unzip the toilet. You know what I mean? So
and I don't think Popo would necessarily keep around someone stupidly powerful under him that could undermine him and screw him over, because it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? If you give people stand powers, or someone ends up getting stand powers and not dying to your arrow, they could manifest a power that's way more powerful than you. And you know what I mean? So it's kind of counterintuitive almost to have someone that strong. So which is why I don't want to assume that Bruno has the most powerful. Abakio seems pretty confident right now. And the other guys got swiped, right? Like Giorno's running, and Abakio's kind of trying to, wants to step up. So I feel he might have the strongest stand, but it could easily be Narancha for all I know. Everyone's underestimating Narancha, so.
Mister has the best stand, counting numbers.
Could you
imagine?
Are you guys familiar with the intro? Have you watched the intro closely? On the outro closely to this part, because they do show the stands briefly, I think, in them. Like there's a fighter plane stand. I think that might be Mister's stand, but I'm not sure.
I think that was Narancha's actually, the airplane ones.
Airplane one, yeah. Is that Narancha's? Okay.
Yeah, I believe it was Narancha's, but I only seen that. Although I have seen the other stands, I really don't know who to put it into face. So maybe it is Mister's, but I remember it happening with Narancha's scene.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of because we were reminded a lot about Part 4, like seeing the stand, like a fighter plane stand, and then Okuyasu's brother had those military tanks, mini tanks, and little fighter planes and shit as well. Like he was sending off the Josuke. You remember,
Company, right?
Bad Company. That's it. I keep forgetting the name. Yeah, Bad Company. So it's definitely reminding me of more powerful versions of Part 4 stands. Slightly more complex stands, but I'm hoping that they're interesting. They're like a puzzle, right, to figure them out. Yeah. Is there anything? Yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, sorry about that. I was gonna say it's been shown though this season that most of these stands, although if you remember with Part 3 and Part 4, these stands had like one set ability. In this part, it seems like these stands have at least one ability. Then they have like 3 other like backups kind of thing. Like with Giorno, just the fact that he can bring life, but also reflect damage that has been drawn onto him. And you have Bruno, of course, with the whole zippers and all that. He can put things in your mouth, but then he can also open the zipper anywhere. Yeah. So it's like these stands have been shown to have multiple sets of abilities. So
I still feel like I don't understand fully these stands. Like that's the great thing about it. Like there's still more to find out about them. Like once you find out someone's stand in the 1 or 2 episodes, you kind of know what they're gonna do. In this one, you don't fully know the stand. You know a little bit, and each episode you find out a little bit more. And considering how many characters stands we have to see, I think the next episode we're gonna see more than just a Bakio stand. I think we might actually end up seeing all of their stands come out a little bit and see it. So
I wonder, is it too soon? Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry, DT.
It's all good. It's all good. I was just gonna say that, like, I was just thinking about Giorno's ability. It's to create life from inanimate objects, correct? Let me just see that if I got that, or if I understand this correctly.
Yeah,
Does this mean that he can? Does this mean he can actually generate? I wonder what's the extent of that. Does it actually have to be a whole entire living organism, or can it be like, for example, a liver, an arm, something like that? You know what I'm getting at here?
Yeah, he could technically, right?
He could, right? Yeah, because if you think about it, right, he can make it. What has been shown is he can make like trees, certain types of animals and whatnot. So you would expect like he would be able to make human body parts and whatnot, like livers, arms, and all of that.
He can accelerate growth as well. Like someone corrected me and says he doesn't fast forward time around the object. He can accelerate growth, so he can age someone, make someone older. I guess.
He can make someone older. Oh.
I mean, he made the tree age. The cells of the tree age. So I want to say he can accelerate growth, not like fast forward time. So he can create life from inanimate objects. So he turned the into flower, like the lighter into a flower. And then he can reflect back. It's weird. He's like more than one.
Conscience, like when he can hit you, like when he touches living people, how it affects their conscience and whatnot.
If he has a bit of a regenerative ability in a sense, or a heal ability because of this application.
I mean,
would it be better than? Do you think it would be better than Josuke's?
Yeah, definitely better. Because you see,
didn't
Josuke's ability have one flaw that he could fix everything around him and rearrange it, but he just couldn't heal himself?
Yeah.
That was So like,
basically, but like, I mean, it's not suitable for himself. But in terms of like, would he be a better healer on others? That's the question.
That has also been like, I've been thinking maybe Giorno could be in sub, because like just with his whole power, just being able to like Mackenzie said, accelerate life and whatnot.
Yeah.
Imagine using that on a teammate, like helping them out, with their powers and all of that.
Do you think? Cool. Do you think this will be an issue down the line where we're not fully familiar with what he's capable of, so he's got an excuse to pull out basically anything for any situation? Or do you think they'll draw the line on his power at some point? Because it feels like it's cool to see. But if you don't draw the line, then you could borderline on Aspel territory. You think they'll do that, or do you think they'll kind of rein it in and draw the line on their powers?
Honestly, that's a good point.
I mean, when it comes to Araki, you know how he is.
Yeah, we know.
You forget some things. Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
It's JoJo, man. I mean, look, I'm not saying JoJo's bad. I am saying that JoJo is designed to be like, I'm gonna power this motherfucker as much as possible.
Yeah. I think Giorno's gonna have one of the most broken stands, but the other guys in his crew might have very funded, very like simple stands. But I think Giorno's one might be broken. Like he might be doing things that we're like, how did he do this? Or like reflecting the damage back is fairly straightforward. But then this whole growth thing, like accelerated growth, and the way he's going to use them is going to be interesting to see, I think, especially going up against more advanced stands.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, honestly, because it's like I was trying to think, and I was like, how can Giorno really use this stand? Like, of course, when stand fights happen, it's stand on stand.
Yeah.
How can you really use that, like the whole regenerate life and all of that?
Yeah, exactly.
In a battle, but they're definitely gonna find a way to make things work. Like probably push a tree in front of the enemy or something.
Exactly. And even the weaknesses, even in terms of Giorno not being able to overcome something, I wonder if we'll see that where he's actually hopelessly like outgunned, right? Because his powers don't know how to match up to someone else's powers. So before we wrap up, is there anything else any of you guys, DT or Ken, do you want to bring up about JoJo Part 5 so far?
I do want to give
I'm
respect to like Giorno as a character though, because like if you really think about it, Giorno recently learned about his stand and the fact that it's so strong, right? So I do believe that sometime in the future there will definitely be a point where Giorno's just too broken.
Yeah.
Because he's just learning about his stand. He doesn't know its full ability. Like he's just learning things. He recently found out that he had a stand.
Yeah.
So there's definitely going to be a point where it's like, oh wow, he can do that. Oh, he just killed everyone in like 5 seconds. Oh wow, nice shit, Giorno. It's
because we forget the older JoJos were much older, a little bit older than these Josuke and Giorno were, right? So these are actually, they're growing up with their powers and they've yet to kind of manifest, right, fully everything. And what about you, DT? Anything else you want to mention about this part?
No, I'm good. I think I brought out all my thoughts.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up now, but thank you to Memory, thank you to Ken, thank you to DT. And unfortunately, we couldn't have Blaze here, but hopefully we'll get him on next week. You may see this podcast on maybe even DT's channel or maybe Master Cell's channel next time. But yeah, thank you guys in the chat for joining us. I'll leave these guys' channels links in the description box below. You can catch this on the archive once it's processed. And we'll keep you guys updated about our future stuff, our future podcasts and that kind of thing. So just keep it tuned to DT's channel, Ken Senpai's channel, my channel, Makenshi Critiques. And thank you guys for watching, man. Do you guys want to say your goodbyes to the chat?
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah. Okay. This is how I usually do my outro. So pardon me if it sounds a little unusual. But well, thank you again, you delightful devils. I appreciate being on the show. And yeah, this is DT signing out.
Thank you for watching, guys. Peace.
All right. Take care, guys, man. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.